Every single time, every single crime, every single lie, early life. Every single hour, every single day, every single night, early life. I know it's hard to believe it's the whole forest, not one tree, and it's every branch and leaf. They're born to deceive, but I'm telling you the truth. It's not just one or two, it's every single Jew. They all hate you, and it really breaks my heart. But their lies are off the charts, and they only bring us harm. You gotta get smart. So if you want to be safe and don't want to get replaced, it's best you start being based, or you'll get erased. Every single time, every single crime, every single lie, early life. Every single hour, every single day, every single night, early life. I know it's hard to accept that all the ones you've met lie with every single breath. They want you dead, but you must not be weak. Just open your eyes and see they always exploit the meek. See their party, and it can make you cry to learn your life was full of lies and their face was a disguise. But you must fight. So if you want to live and protect all of your kin, you have to grow thick skin, or we won't. Every single time, every single crime, every single lie, early life. Every single hour, every single day, every single night, early life. I got my $7,000. I don't give a shit about dead kids. I got my $7,000. I love getting paychecks from Zionists. I don't have any morals, I just love to get money. I don't care about genocide, I actually think it's funny. I can spell Jerusalem or point to where it is, but I proudly stand with Israel as apex, bitch. I want the shekels, reach and fame. I couldn't care less how many innocents are slain. I will go kiss the wall if that's what I have to do. I have no problem being a good goy for Jews. I got my $7,000. I don't give a shit about dead kids. I got my $7,000. I love getting paychecks from Zionists. Don't come at me with requests to debate. You just wanna pick on the only Jewish state. You wanna bring up Gaza and the USS Liberty, but who caused the pogroms of Jews throughout history? You're clearly jealous of the Jewish people and me. I know this extra 7,000 makes you see you're just a loser, an anti-Semite. You hate the chosen people and love to ankle bite. I got my $7,000. I don't give a shit about dead kids. I got my $7,000. I love getting paychecks from Zion. get paychecks from Zionists.
All right. What's up, ninjas? We are live. We are live. What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Guys, don't forget to get the merch. We got some got the new hoodie in stock right now, man. AKA, you guys already know. Let me go ahead and get it real quick up on screen for you guys. MyronGainsX.store/limited, as you guys know, is the website. I'm gonna get my bro in here in a second, by the way, guys. For you ninjas. So if you go to the store, right? You just go to the store, just click limited drop, and then bam, there we go. We got the 4th of July stuff. Go ahead and get it now. You guys can. You guys got a couple of days. Okay. Get the t-shirts, hoodies, etc. Get the bundle, 1776 bundle, Sons of Liberty bundle. Okay. Not Middle Gear Salad. So make sure to go ahead and get in there, ninjas. Okay, while you guys can. So, yeah. Oh, my bro's calling me right now. Let me get Ninja in here.
Those in a moment, but what's
Are
up?
you there?
What's up? See all of you. Yo, I'm
Yo.
here.
All right, hold on. Let me get you in here real quick. Give me 1 sec.
Sure.
Boom. They can see you there. I just got to turn my camera off.
Yes, Chad, I'm hungry. Leave me alone.
Got the nice little pink light. I see it.
How to switch it up, you know?
There we
I
go.
think this is way better.
Yeah, no, I literally named my show Breaking News with Ryad because I know that there's going to be a bunch of stuff probably going on right now. I literally woke up not too long ago, guys. I've been like trying to catch up on rest, man, the past couple of days, as you guys can see here. I've been so cooked.
Yeah, no, so you actually missed a big story today. Earlier on,
Fill us
the
all in.
Supreme Court upheld birthright citizenship. So it
I
seems
saw
like
that.
Trump
I saw that on Twitter.
failed once again. And look, I mean, just in the beginning, I'll say this briefly before we read both of our chats. And I have some videos here queued up, so we'll react to them. But I mean, there's really not much of a surprise here, right? A lot of Trump's legislation or his executive orders, some of them have passed through, but a lot of them have been rejected and turned down, like deploying National Guard in the cities and then the tariffs and all those things. And so I'm not surprised to see something as extreme as amending the 14th Amendment actually being turned down. Now, I will say, you know, look, there has been this conversation about getting rid of birthright citizenship for the larger part of the last decade, and Trump has been talking about it, but again, it just seems like his political power and his political sway is dying very slowly. And I think some of the people that he actually appointed inside of this Supreme Court, some of the justices actually voted in dissent, or sorry, not in dissent, in majority favor for upholding the 14th Amendment. So everywhere you look, it's just kind of L on top of L. And JD Vance just did an interview with Fox. I'm sure they spoke about that and the Iranian situation. So it's like 2 days of just back-to-back L's. Iran is refusing to talk to us. They're talking to the mediator of the Qatari Prime Minister. Mohammed Ghalibaf says that we are not actually going to talk to the United States and get back to the MOU until hostilities in Lebanon cease, as well as the fact that we want our oil sanctions released, which it doesn't seem like the U.S. has done that quite yet, at least as I'm talking to you now. So lots of things for JD Vance to, again, explain to the American public, all of these L's, all of these pullbacks. And I'm telling you, man, they're like violating him. He's the one who has to continuously go up to the media, go to Megyn Kelly, go to Fox News, go to all of these big outlets and like try and explain and reconcile what's going on with the United States and all of these strategic failures by this administration. But yeah, very big story today. So for those of you who have been under a rock or haven't been paying attention, the Supreme Court upheld birthright citizenship. Obviously, Donald Trump earlier on in his
trying to get rid of it for a while.
Has been trying to get rid of it. He's been trying to get rid of it for a while, but they had an executive order to abolish birthright citizenship, meaning anybody who is not born to a U.S. citizen would not actually have legitimate citizenship status. And the United States is one of the few countries that actually upholds this. I think of all of the countries in the world, only 30 have birthright
not
citizenship.
many. Yeah, there's a few of them. Yeah.
There's not many. So the U.S. is actually one of the few, but you know, there's tons of argument about it. And I didn't even think that it would get close. 6-3 was decently close. So that's surprising. And I think one of the justices actually wrote a 91-page dissent in his disagreement as to why he feels like birthright citizenship should be abolished. And this is the same argument that we heard from Charlie Kirk and a lot of people on the right, which is the fact that the 14th Amendment was enacted only for freed slaves, and so that their children could be citizens of the United States, which is fair and a great argument in that, I might add. So we'll get into all of that good stuff, but yeah, just another failure for this administration. What were your thoughts when you first saw it? I'm sure you saw it earlier on in the day.
Yeah, no, I mean it's just another failure. He's been trying to get rid of birthright citizenship for a while, which I understand because it's a very abused system. I understand early on, the need or significance of it, but nowadays it's like, come on, dude. Like people are like I see all the time. People come to the United States pregnant, bro, like 7 months pregnant just for that. So it's like you do have to put some level of accountability, and like you got to nerf it a little bit, because I see Nigerians constantly coming over here, bro, 7-8 months pregnant, bro. It's Nigerian niggas especially that be doing that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and a lot of immigrants take advantage of that, and it's to the L of natural born Americans or Americans who are born as citizens. And it's like just the anchor baby cesspool that we're now seeing in the United States. I think even Vivek Ramaswamy is an anchor baby. Like, bro,
Yeah.
There are some legitimate blowback effects of that. So it is kind of crazy to see, but I wasn't surprised. I have this article here, but we can react to a video. I'm just going to read these chats very quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then we'll get into it very briefly. Hayasake Abe, thank you for the 20, says, Myron briefly touched on this, but can you explain more about the building of the third temple? Yeah, that's why Al-Aqsa flood took place. That's why Hamas invaded on October 7th. It was because of the fact that the building of the third temple, where the Western Wall now sits, that's the last remnant piece after the Romans destroyed it. Now, and that was the second temple that they destroyed. Now, obviously, the state of Israel and a lot of conspicuous parties, I might add, Ben-Gvir being one of the main ones who doesn't make this a secret, are trying to build that third temple where the third holiest site of Islam currently exists, which is why there is all this tension in regards to Hamas, the PLO, Israeli officials, and things like that. And so, when people say this is a religious war, I don't know if I'd go that far yet, but there is a spiritual element to it, which is some of the motivation as to why October 7th ever took place. But yeah, I mean, that's really it. Obviously, you have the heifer sacrifice, but they do aim at building that third temple in so that they can bring forth their Messiah, their chosen one, their Mashiach, I think how you say it in Hebrew, or Mashiach. And so obviously Christians and Muslims believe that the Messiah has already come, and they have different interpretation as to who he is, but who or what he embodies, what his divine essence is. But that's Jesus Christ. Obviously, the Jewish people do not share the same faith in Jesus Christ, so they are waiting for their Messiah. But that cannot come until the third temple is built, and then this like very pure, free from touching death rabbi goes inside with like these ashes, and it's this whole process. I can't remember. I explained it in the video. If you go back on my channel, I explained it in detail. But yeah, that's really the essence of the third temple. So there's a lot of controversy surrounding it. And allegedly, they've already sacrificed a few of the heifers. So they may be closer than a lot of people are led to believe. And that's all intentional. They're not going to be super upfront about the fact that they're right around the corner from building that temple or sacrificing the final heifer, whatever it is.
He literally went on Tim Pool and like bragged about it. Like, oh yeah, we already sacrificed one. Yeah. I don't know if it was like one of the red ones, but they definitely did sacrifice one already.
Yeah, a perfect unmarked red heifer is what they need, which they got from evangelical Christians in Texas. So crazy. So yeah, that's that for you. But thank you for the super chat. And then Danny Shabao says, yo, Pimpin', what's your thoughts on Saddam? Saddam kind of based, let's see, Saddam from North Dakota. This is from Chase. Saddam from North Dakota. Saddam. The Supreme Court also is going to take the Connecticut assault weapons ban, which is going to be sweet to see AWBS trash can. Yeah, I didn't look into that, but yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. Thank you for the 5. YV Lit, $10. W Bro, keep grinding. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate that. I will try and keep grinding as much as I can. Yeah, some breaking news, though. So we'll react to this video, but anything else you got? Or you want to add or chat to read?
G-Weez, thank you very much. And Ace-Tone, thank you for the gifted subs. And then Speedy says, I always laugh. This comes from the OSS. I always laugh when blacks say, what does the problems in the Middle East have to do with me? The same people that are exploiting and profiting off the black community on the daily are the same ones that are causing all the issues in the Middle East. Yeah, they don't even know, bro. Most blacks think them boys are basically white people, bro. They're too dumb to realize that they're completely different. Like I'll be honest with you, most of these niggas, bro, if you ask them, they would think like these Ashkenazis are white. So, you know, what can you do? Speedy says, why is Trump trying to repeal the 14th Amendment when he should be focused on repealing the 19th Amendment? Look, bro, we can all make jokes about the 19th Amendment getting repealed, but unfortunately, bro, it's never going to happen. I hate to say it. Like, you would need, like, a revolutionary. You need someone crazy like me to get in to get rid of the 19th Amendment, bro. And we'd have to lie up front. We'd have to be like, oh, no, we're going to protect women's rights. And then once we get in, we just, like, you know, we get rid of that shit. You know?
Yeah.
So,
no,
yeah.
13th. The 13th obviously would never.
I'm a PhD.
The 19th, and then good use of the soundboard there.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta hit up Josie because she was gonna show me how to hook it up with the Elgato. I'll hit her up after this. But yeah, I mean, and you know, look, there was a decent chance that this could have passed, but I mean, this was the final straw, really, in regards to Trump's political sway. So they're not going to be able to reintroduce this, and people got to understand. I mean, even if this was passed through the Supreme Court, or they actually went against the 14th Amendment, it still would have had to go through several other processes before it was legitimately approved. So, you know, this was just one step, and they couldn't even get past the first and earliest step, which is, you know, remarkable in and of itself. But again, it's not a surprise here.
Yeah, no, not at all. You have a video you want to share?
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's see. All right.
Shannon, we have another decision, and it's a big one. It has to do with birthright citizenship. It was an executive order that President Trump, on day one of his second term in January 2025, signed the executive order. It was immediately challenged, and now we can tell you that the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled against President Trump's order to limit birthright citizenship. Shannon, we have talked for some time about the president feeling that he would not win on this one. The question is, why not?
Okay. Right off the bat, it says children born in the United States to parents unlawfully or temporarily present are, quote, subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and are citizens at birth under the 14th Amendment's Citizenship Clause. So look how this broke down. As we expected, the Chief Justice wrote this opinion. Justices Sotomayor, Kagan, Barrett, and Jackson joined.
Sneako, thank you so much for the 5 gifted, my friend. Sneako.
Oh, shout out Sneako. He's in here?
Sneako just chatted on.
What's up,
he's in mine, yeah. We love Sneako. He's not live today. He's taking a break. He's been grinding the World Cup. Shout out to Sneako.
Yeah, shout out
Good
to
brother
Sneako,
brother Sneak. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Jackson has a concurring opinion in which Sotomayor joins. Justice Kavanaugh files an opinion concurring in the judgment and dissenting in part. The dissent comes from Justice Thomas. He is joined by Gorsuch.
All right, Tina, watch. I'm going to shadow run your ass. I was not eating bananas and rice. It's
Is that Clarence Thomas that dissented it?
Yes, I think so. I forgot the full name.
The black guy.
The nigga.
I think it's Clarence Thomas.
That's
that was a Trump appointee, wasn't
Thomas.
it?
The Citizenship Clause added greatly to the dignity and glory of American citizenship. Today's opinions devalues that citizenship. I respectfully dissent, is what he said in some of his final remarks or beginning remarks.
Yeah,
so he was one of the ones
Trump
to oppose
appointee,
it.
wasn't he? That's crazy
I'm not
work.
sure. Was he one of the ones that Trump appointed?
I'm almost certain he's Trump appointee, bro. That's crazy work, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy work.
It's crazy. It's crazy. No, by the way, Tina saying Ryad eating bananas and rice. Watch it, nigga. That's a serious accusation.
Wasn't that yogurt?
I will get you removed. Yeah, it was Greek yogurt. The joke is because like Somalis eat everything with bananas.
Oh,
like
do
they'll
they?
eat bananas with anything. The niggas try and crack jokes. It's pretty funny.
I didn't even know that.
Watch it, nigga.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they eat everything with bananas.
I don't know
and
what,
shit.
bro. We're not
Really
Somalian at all, bro. Not even close. Not even close, bro.
The trolls be having a field day with that shit. It's like, bro. Although I've never been. No one's ever called me that. Like actually, people have trolled me. Like, oh, Somali nigga. Like, all right, fuck off. But like, no one's ever actually mistaken me for that. I don't think I look Somali, but hey, the jokesters got jokes, right? It's fine.
Alito. And then Justice Gorsuch apparently has his own dissenting opinion. So it is what we expected after the arguments here. And it looks like a bit of a split, but enough of a plurality coming together to say that the executive order that the president issued very quickly upon taking office is no good. And that if people are here subject to the jurisdiction.
No, so it's not him. It's Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett are the Trump appointees and the justices.
Okay.
So the nigga didn't even have no vested interest. That nigga just don't like immigrants. That nigga definitely comes from a descendant of slaves. He said, yeah, this was for us. So That is what it is.
thereof includes people who are here illegally. Writing for the majority, Chief Justice Roberts says this: citizenship then and now was the right to have rights to freely participate in our political community. Talking about the 14th Amendment, the framers of the 14th Amendment extended that promise to every freeborn person in this land. That's a quote, and it looks like it's a quote back to some of the legislative debate about this in Congress. He says we keep that promise today. So a loss probably expected by the Trump White House, but it is official and it's a thick one, so we'll keep reading.
All right, thank you so much. Let's bring in Jonathan Turley. President Trump went to this argument. It didn't go as they would like, and you have some thoughts as to why. Go ahead.
Well, this is exactly what some of us predicted after the oral argument. Chief Justice Roberts said rather pointedly when...
And I believe during the arguments, Trump, I don't know if they just mentioned this, I was reading the chat, but Trump actually sat and watched these arguments. First U.S. president in history to do that, which is pretty funny.
Counsel noted that things have changed in the citizenship area and how people become citizens.
I turned on.
Roberts pointedly said,
Ryad, I turned on TikTok on my end as well, so we just can't
Gotcha,
make
don't
fun of
worry.
women for a little bit,
Okay.
or not
Honestly,
too hard.
no cursing too,
We will
right?
after.
I think
Just
they like that.
yeah, not too much crazy. We could curse a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah. TikTok.
well,
is
the
trash,
Constitution
bro.
hasn't changed.
Yeah, it's all.
It's
all
trash,
so
bro.
cooked.
It's trash, bro. It's fine though. We're covering the news, so it's all good. I got some stuff here as well. We could talk about Venezuela. We could talk about the Middle East too. So there's been some stuff. So yeah, we'll go ahead.
All right, perfect.
And that is reflected in this opinion. It is a roaring decision in favor of birthright citizenship as contained within the 14th Amendment. That is despite the countervailing evidence of some of the drafters of that amendment that they did not want this to be something that would cover birthright citizenship. Now, having said that, there are very good arguments on both sides here, good faith arguments. And I'm just reading through the Roberts decision
What are the
today.
what is the
but it is
what are the leftist arguments for it? Because honestly, I don't see a point for birthright citizenship anymore the way it is now. Because people just scam it, dude. It is one of the most scammed things we have in this country at this point.
It's the right to jurisdiction within the 14th Amendment is the thing they're always arguing, right? So like the 14th Amendment actually does cover illegal aliens. It's kind of a broad amendment versus the rights argument is like, no, this was meant for freed slaves and that's it, like nothing else. So their argument is a liberal one, right? One of progressivism, one of inclusivity, which is the fact that the 14th Amendment in its code, I think it states somewhere that, you know, it's a right to jurisdiction. So it doesn't matter how you're born or what the circumstances are, whoever your parent is. It's the fact that geographically, so long as you're born in the United States, you are a citizen. And they're arguing that the amendment says that in some indirect or direct way. That's really their argument from a legal code standpoint. However, I mean, emotionally as well, right? It's just they feel like people should have the right. How many people have capitalized off of birthright citizenship?
Here now, and what I'll do is no, I'll just pull it up real quick just so people can like actually look at it. So here we go. 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution ratified in 1868 following the Civil War guarantees birthright citizenship, ensures equal protection under law, and protects citizens' rights against infringement by state governments. I'm assuming what they're contending is obviously the birthright citizenship part.
Yeah, because within that clause itself, the argument comes about that regardless of the circumstances, you are to be given citizenship, which is like the whole point of contention. And, you know, like it's important to note the reason why the Supreme Court upheld this, aside from the fact that maybe some of them found this to be legitimate, is, I mean, could you imagine if this was overturned? Could you imagine if Donald Trump successfully penetrated and actually got some steps in the ground of amending the Constitution, even, you know, and that's been done before, but to this degree for something as, you know, hot and as culturally important and or relevant as this would have been a big deal. So I think maybe some of that influenced their decision as well, despite what people will say about the Supreme Court. Oh, they've only worried about the Constitution and upholding the law. But I mean, could you imagine if this was overturned, the liberals and the left would have mobilized and assembled in a way we would have never seen, or we haven't seen since 2020, I bet you, if they abolished birthright citizenship. So I was almost positive when I saw this and the final decision being done today. I knew that it wouldn't win over, but, you know, definitely something that they're going to parade about and be happy for. And again, just more political L's for Trump. I mean, here's the thing. When you have a ton of executive power and you use it, that's cool, but you better win. And you better actually make sure your legislation passes, because if it doesn't, the blowback is severe. And we're going to start to see the beginning stages of this as we move into the later of the summer and the fall. And I think the GOP is having like some meeting in Oklahoma or something like that. Trump is going to do like some unorthodox rally meeting in Oklahoma next month or something like that. I was reading that out of the New York Times as well.
Bro's getting ready for the midterms, man. He knows it's going to be tough.
Yeah, he's going to have to do something.
Battle, man.
Yeah, he's going to have to be doing something culturally significant in order to win the hearts back, because a lot of people have now left the coalition, I suppose. But yeah, that would be their argument, you know. So, and look, I mean, that's been in the Constitution for decades. So for them to also overturn and amend that as well, I mean, there's also the understanding that that's just something that's normally sat for a while. It might take a little bit more influence and or motivation, legitimate reason for them to do that. You know, and here's the thing, man, the GOP, they benefit off of immigration, bro. They benefit, all of these big establishments, all of these big mogul billionaires, they're the ones who reap the benefit from the immigrants being here, and the H-1B situation and the birthright citizenship and so on and so forth, the Vivek Ramaswamys and that kind of party of people, the like somewhat censor conservative idea of thinking. So for them, there's really no benefit in that anyways. You know, who knows what kind of vested interest some of these justices have. You know, people try to say that's conspiratorial, but I mean, you know, just open your eyes. So I don't think that would benefit the super rich earning class. And I mean super, super rich earning class here in the United States, which is probably some of the reason as to why. You know, Trump is doing this to kind of stand on business, because he has said for years, like, I will abolish birthright citizenship. But everybody knew, as they said, the Trump White House and the administration knew that this was unlikely to pass or even get past the Supreme Court. So,
yep.
Is a very comprehensive and good faith argument. What is left here is a decision for the country as to whether it wants to examine a constitutional amendment. Some countries that have had birthright citizenship got rid of it because many of us believe it's an incredibly ill-considered policy.
Yeah, most of Europe, Asia, the Middle East, that doesn't exist. You know, if your parents don't have the ethnicity home to that land, or an indigenous, or have legitimate standing, it doesn't matter if you're born there, you're not given citizenship right off the bat. I mean,
we know that. Like, we got cousins that were born in Saudi Arabia, bro, and none of them have citizenship, man. None of them.
Nigga.
None of
bro,
them. They're like, no, thank you. We're not going to give it to you ever.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's just the way most of the world actually works. But it's the West, really. South America, North America, you got Canada. They have that kind of like birthright citizenship culture, but that's just not a thing in really the East. Like all of Asia, all of Europe, the Middle East especially. The UAE, we always talk about how strict they are with immigration and things like that, and all those sort of custom rules and regulations. So it's the same thing on that end. I forget what it's called. There's a principle for it. There's a term, jus sanguinis or something like that. But it's the idea that there's no blood connection to or there is a blood connection to the birth rather than like being geographically dependent, which is the way the United States operates. So it is an amendment or legislation that does hurt the country's like legitimate standing of American citizens long term, I would argue, but I knew that this wouldn't pass by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
Make that decision as well, but we're going to have that debate, and we're going to have to agree. We really haven't had a national debate on this. This has largely been contained within the court system, and it may be time for us as a country to decide how we define citizenship.
It's also something that like only the Republicans care about. The Democrats don't talk about this ever. Like this is a non-issue for them. Like they never touch hot button immigration topics like this ever. You know, because this is going to piss a lot of people off.
This is considered far right policy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though most of the world shares the value that you shouldn't give birthright citizenship to people automatically just for being born there, right? Being geographically dependent. This is considered like a very far right fringe, I would argue even like dissident thing to be in favor of. So yeah, the left would never, ever even bring something close like this to legislation, to the table of legislation. It would
even
earn them so much blowback immediately.
Even centrists wouldn't bring this to the table.
Yeah, because this is where, look, they see this stuff and then they try to conflate it with fascism, and they try to say this is the first step in fascism and Trump is abusing his executive power and things like that. But I mean, there is a legitimate pro-American patriotic argument for overturning this aspect of the 14th Amendment, I would argue, but
It's
of
abuse.
course they want to construe it.
It's 100%
Yeah.
abuse. I mean, look, like, you know, there's I can't tell you guys how many foreign nationals come to the United States 6-7 months pregnant and then stay here just so that they can get a kid born here and that kid can have a U.S. citizenship and come back later on. Like, that's literally what it is, dude. They scam it all the time.
This is why the term is coined anchor baby,
Yeah.
right? For people who don't understand, it's everything that's contingent upon that child being born here that saves the family from actually going back to where they're from. So, you know, it's a loophole in the system, if you will.
Yeah,
But
and-
it's
and
not
I'm-
something that will ever go.
I'm for it. I'm for eliminating it too. I think it creates a lot of problems. But you know, let's be honest, bro. You guys got to realize that, like, I don't think people understand like how normies think, right? Obviously, you guys are listening to us. We have our political opinions. Some people might say we're far right, whatever. Who cares? Normies, like regular people, tend to be centered. Okay, and when I say this, I mean as in like something like this is like unheard of for them. Like, what? You want to remove birthright citizenship? No, why? Like, most people, if you ask them for their political opinion, they're of the political opinion where it's like, if it doesn't bother anyone, I don't care. Oh, what are your thoughts on gay marriage? I don't care. Does it affect anybody? No, I don't care. What are your thoughts on immigration? Does it affect anybody? Not really. Maybe some people here or there. I don't care. Like normies don't care about a lot of these hot button topics that we argue about here on the internet, bro. Like that's just the uncomfortable reality, which is why a lot of times nothing gets done about it. You know,
Yeah.
most people look at it like, if it doesn't like affect me negatively, I'm not even gonna bother to care about it, or I'm not gonna give my opinion on it because I'll get fired. Or because even if they do have a hot take on it, they're not gonna say it publicly. Like, they're not gonna say it publicly at all.
Yeah, this is definitely considered one of those fringe views. But I mean, it's legitimate and it's consistent. And to think about it, I mean, how many immigrants
It is
hopped over
abuse.
the border during the Biden administration? You know, 6 million plus 10 million. There's different numbers. It's all controversial, but you know, that does make a difference. And so doing this or enacting this piece of legislation, right, actually overturning birthright citizenship would really not make that big of a difference, especially in the short term. These immigrants are still going to have kids. They're still going to fight for them to get citizenship. They'll figure out ways to do that. And so there will be sanctuary cities for them regardless at all times. And there's always ways around it. This is one of, you know, the actual fleeting ideas or something that's just more of a symbolic win than a legitimate one or a tangible one, because the damage is already done in terms of like mass immigration. It's been done. So this is really not even doing much anyways, if it were to even pass, if Trump was to even get what he wanted. And at the end of all of it, he didn't get what he wanted. So, you know, and by the way, I'm well aware that immigration has had its benefits in terms of its, you know, contributions to GDP and everything, and these people pay taxes. But it does get to a point where now we've seen diminishing gains, and that's especially after 2021 and 2022. So, you know, it is what it is, but certainly a large unlikelihood here. But it is crazy that not wanting people, like, it's a popularized thing around the world. People never know that. Like, no other country shares this kind of rulemaking, and especially the powerful ones that are concerned about the structural integrity of their company or their country and their national people. They never have policy similar to this one. So, you know, you could argue about it for days, but certainly something that's not as extreme as people like to write it off to be.
Yep.
And I have a thread here from, we'll finish this because there's still some good stuff in here, but I have a thread here of the best pieces from Clarence Thomas's 91-page dissent in the Supreme Court's ruling. So we can look at some of his pieces there and his thoughts.
All right, 14th Amendment ratified in 1868. Back to Shannon Bream for the view from Justice Thomas, who was a dissenter here. Shannon.
Yeah, in his dissent, he gets to that point, Bill, that you're making there. The 14th Amendment was enacted in the wake of the Civil War, quote, with the one pervading purpose of securing equal citizenship for the freed slaves. He writes, it was enacted, as Justice Harlan wrote, to secure to a race recently emancipated the civil rights that other citizens enjoyed. So Thomas has always been about that was the purpose of the 14th Amendment. He goes on to say that the court, meaning the majority now, has repurposed the 14th Amendment to protect its own set of preferred rights that the Reconstruction Congress never contemplated and that cannot find support in the text. Today, the court does so by recognizing a constitutional right to citizenship for the children of all foreign birth tourists and illegal aliens. He uses very specific language there. Again,
Yeah, and
Justice
I don't
Thomas
see- I don't see,
adhering and agreeing
here,
with
can you pause it real quick? And I don't see a problem with that. Like these birth tours, which there's a lot of them, like I told you guys before, and then illegal aliens. I don't see an issue with that. With removing birthright for these people because they're scamming the system. But you know, of course, these guys. And here's the thing, man. If it doesn't get pushed with Trump, it ain't gonna get pushed, bro. Trump has been one of the more harder presidents on immigration, and the fact that it's not getting pushed under him is cooked, bro. It's not gonna get pushed.
Yeah, it's over. If he couldn't do it,
If
it's
he
like
couldn't
no
do
one
it,
can
bro,
do it.
it's like nobody could do it, man. Or no one else is gonna. You would need someone else that's like you know, a hardcore nationalist to do it, and Trump is the closest to it. Even though he's owned by Israel, but that's another conversation.
Yeah, and people don't understand, man. Like, again, there's just look on its face, like the GOP and Republican Party is like anti-immigration, but I just think there's always internal pieces that are actually in favor of this shit. Like, and they're not as hard against it as they make it seem. Like a JD Vance or like a Vivek Ramaswamy. So, you know, I think the back end moving pieces always have some vague element of interest in immigration to some degree, and this might be a part of it, you know. So it is what it is. And by the way, immigrants have kids at much higher rates than natural born Americans. Although that does taper off after the first or two generations, they run wild with this. And I know people whose parents have done birth tourism, you know, like they were born here and niggas left 10 minutes later. So it's you know, then they come back and they have an accent. They don't even speak English, and it's like, wow, that's unbelievable. But it is a loophole. It's a strategy, and I call it a loophole because I don't think it's actually justified or legitimate, but the Constitution does have that issue.
The government's argument, which they made here very passionately, that the 14th Amendment was about protecting the children of freed slaves and not what we've come to understand it as. You see his language there. He mentions birth tourism. It came up in the arguments, and clearly that's a very big concern of the dissenters. We also have dissents by Justice Alito and others, so we'll read those as well.
All right, thank you so much. Let's bring in Hugh Hewitt, of course. He has the Hugh Hewitt Show and a Fox News contributor with his reaction this morning. Good morning, Hugh.
Good morning.
And we're watching Fox News for all the crybabies saying I always watch Al Jazeera. I watch all news, you fucking bastards.
Dana, my reaction this morning is I'm not surprised by any of these decisions. I would have agreed with, were I in the court, with all three of them. I think the Chief Justice has hit it out of the park on the birthright citizenship issue, and we finally have a decision that lays to rest this endless debate that text, history, and tradition in fact affirm if you're born in the United States, you're a citizen. I love Justice Kavanaugh's clarity on the boys and girls sports. He simply says the Equal Protection Clause allows states to do what they want to do to protect women. And as to the third case on campaign funding, Karl Rove, the architect, had it exactly right. It strengthens parties. It makes parties much more vibrant. And so I think, from my perspective, it's 3-0 for the Constitution today. Now, I know some people, as a matter of policy that Professor Turley just put out, would like to amend the Constitution to change the citizenship to prevent against birthright citizenship. We can pass a law to tighten up visa. We can secure the border like President Trump has done. But the Constitution is pretty easy to understand. It was written by farmers for farmers. I like to tell that to my con law students every single year. There's nothing magic about this if you just simply read the document, text, history, and tradition. So I think it's a 3-0 day for the Supreme Court, and they can go home and enjoy their summer.
Wow. Okay. Hugh, stand by.
Damn.
Back to Shannon, who's got more yet again. Shannon.
All right, this comes from Justice Alito, who brought this up during the arguments. This is his separate dissent. He said the court's interpretation also has national security implications. Suppose that a person's only connection to this country is that he was born here to a mother who was present just long enough to give birth and then quickly return to her native country.
They do that all the time.
Suppose that country is a
They do that all the time, dude.
That's the tourism they're talking about. And I don't know if, like, right, what would the stipulations be of the legislation if it was passed? Would it be the fact that everybody who has reaped the benefit of this in the last however much allotted time would be removed and they would have that revoked? Or would it be from here on out? You know, these are also very big deciding factors that change the outcome significantly. So that's something else. But
strategic adversary or enemy of the United States. Suppose the child never visited the United States while growing up and was inculcated with hatred of this country. According to this court now, that person is a citizen of the United States. He can enter and leave the country as he pleases. He can travel the world on a United States passport. Even if he plots to harm this country, he cannot be deprived of his status as a citizen, at least under current precedent. He goes on to say that this this decision today also provides.
They cannot deny you at the border if you're a U.S. citizen from coming in at all. So, and then it's very difficult to denaturalize someone too. So, I mean, if you're born here, you're born here. You're going to get the citizenship. But if you like get U.S. citizenship, even through fraud, bro, it's hard for them to. They'd have to prove significant fraud for them to denaturalize you. So it's not easy to even denaturalize someone after they become naturalized. So,
Yeah.
Dude, our immigration system is so broken. It is so broken. I don't think people understand how broken it is. People think, oh, it's just the border. No, dude, it's not just the border. It's birthright citizenship. It's our visa system. It's our visa waiver program. It's our marriage system that we have. Our entire immigration infrastructure to naturalize and become a citizen and or get some type of status. The entire system is cooked. The entire system. And they scam it all the time. That's what I'm saying. We need an immigration moratorium for a period of time to fix it, man, because the entire system
is cooked. And the DSA coalition is just going to highlight on that and give them all of our shit, in the grand scheme of things. So
yeah,
it's like one administration failing on legislation that's allowing the next wave of power to come in and take advantage of what they couldn't fix, which is the immigration crisis. So it's all done now. It's over. People hear this law and people hear this attempt by Donald Trump in his executive order, and they think he's like he was trying to deport everybody, quote unquote, deport everybody. That failed on its face. But people hear this and they think like this is an attempt to like deport every baby that's been born here in the last however many years or whatever. But it's like this is something that would very slowly stop the bleeding to a point where it's marginally noticeable.
Yep.
So if this couldn't win, it's all over. And this is why we were saying yesterday, bro, the blue wave is imminent. The blue wave is imminent.
It is.
And the right is absolutely cooked, okay? I know it's not nice to hear that if you're right wing, but that's just that's the facts.
If they had gotten this passed, they would have used this to come after us as well. Getter Create says small win last week was the cessation of TPS by the Supreme Court. Still not enough. Yeah, bro, that's not enough at all, bro. But yeah, dude, it's cooked.
Yeah.
Go ahead. We keep going. Shout out to all you guys watching on TikTok, by the way. I see you guys watching on TikTok. We got a good amount of you guys on there.
TikTok.
Yeah. Even though TikTok is trash, I still think it's still trash. But yeah, shout out to you guys watching though. You guys, because it's funny because like they'll be like, "What this guy's here?" Yeah, bro. I know. It's crazy how many people like only use TikTok and don't go anywhere else, bro. It's insane, dude.
Oh, bro, a lot. It's people's source for news. It's people's source for everything that's happening in the world. And I know that because I read the comments and people have like a one-sided judgment or opinion about any like mainstream story. Like I'll see now this on TikTok, they have like a pretty big TikTok following and they post these clips of JD Vance or like Donald Trump always talking shit about the administration. And everybody in the comments is like, you can tell they only spend their time on TikTok because they have absolutely no idea what's happening outside of the clip they just watched.
Yep.
So yeah, it's the modern day TikTok brain. And by the way, TikTok has captivated the older generation as well. People think TikTok is just like young people. There's a lot of older folks on TikTok as well. I don't know the age ranges. I'm sure there's some sort of data point and or analytics out there for me to view, but there's a lot of older people on TikTok too. And with Larry Ellison owning it now, it's more friendly for them versus the young. So
and we know why.
Yeah.
I know why.
Enter or remain in this country illegally. He goes on to say, in my judgment, the court has made a mistake that will seriously affect the country's future. So some very pointed dissents here from those who raised these very big concerns during the arguments. And they're real world scenarios, which are not a fantasy. They're not a movie. I mean, these things that can actually happen now under this ruling that you have today from the majority.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows.
So we can watch this JD interview.
You want to see
Do you
this
have
right
anything?
here? This says about today's Democratic Party. You want to click that real quick? That video up top? I kind of
Sure.
want to see what they're gonna say, because the new Democrat Party is radicalized and communist, bro.
It's over. It's over.
Who's got the power? What kind of power?
When we fight,
We win.
when we fight,
We win.
Yo, get ready,
This
guys.
is Daria Lisa.
Yo,
This is
get
Daria
ready,
Lisa.
ninjas. This is
Thanks
what
for
we're gonna have to
joining
deal with. This we're gonna have to deal with in 26. This is what we're gonna have to deal with in 28, bro. I'm telling y'all, man. They're building up a socialist coalition, bro. They are building up a socialist
and they
coalition.
worked for it. You know, like I'm not even whatever, bro. These are 1,000,000% our enemies, because if these people get power, we're all fucked.
We're cooked.
Like I will literally be evicted from my building and canceled from everything. But at the same time, it's like they worked for it. So I'm not even gonna sit here and see it. It's like, yo, they put in the man hours, they put in the effort, they won over the propaganda, they got people to think what they were thinking. And it was an opportunistic time where they grabbed at the right thing, which was the anti-Israel rhetoric. And anybody who was kind of center left or moderately left or even in the middle kind of bought into the campaign. So, you know, this is the result of all of that hard work and endless grinding. Now they have political representation, and it will grow. You
Yep.
know, it will grow.
She
Fox
won a
senses.
seat.
That's why they put this video up.
This chick won a seat, bro. She won her election. She won it by a landslide, dude.
Yeah, by a sizable amount.
Some commie chants echoing through New York's ever-expanding commie corridor. The three Democratic
And by the way, commie, you like when Trump and the right used to call Democrats communists and socialists, it was like, all right, maybe that's a bit of a stretch. Now it's like a legitimate term. Like now it's not even like, you know, this arbitrary like dissing culture point. No, it's like real. These people are self-proclaimed like socialists / communists. And they were doing some digging on her, but she was like into all of this stuff with Marxism and all that. I don't know. I saw it somewhere on X, but these people are like not even hiding their beliefs. You know, they are legitimate socialists and or communists. So maybe the commie thing's a bit too far. I understand that. I know they're different, but it is funny because now this is the first time where this diss is actually holding weight. Like it's not just, you know, a diss. It's actually the truth.
socialists who swept the Big Apple, holding a rally earlier as the Democratic Party rolls out a big red welcome mat.
Whatever labels you want to attach to it, whatever she said, I believe that we've got to understand that Big Tent means Big Tent.
I'm not afraid of new members or new ideas in the party. I welcome it.
That friction, although it might make for good, you know, press, it's part of being in a coalition.
The reality is we have an unsettled electoral environment, which is going to be the case when Donald Trump is president.
Yeah, and Hakeem blames Trump for Dem socialist surge, but like that's low-key a good reason. Like that's a part of the reason. It's so, and now they're saying they're willing to build this coalition and unite even despite some differences, the mainstream Democrats and these socialists. Yeah, it's over. It's over, nigga.
Yep.
Okay, that was Hakeem preemptively blaming President Trump if the socialist surge takes Colorado next. Radical candidate Melat Kiros looks to ride the commie wave into Congress by unseating a longtime Democratic incumbent, which may be difficult given she thinks Israel deserved October 7th and America deserved 9/11.
Ah, shit. It's so over, bro. It's so over.
You've said that the October 7th massacre of Israeli civilians by Hamas fighters was the, quote, inevitable consequence of apartheid. Can you...
Certain conditions lead people to feeling like violence is their only answer.
Was 9/11 an inevitable consequence for America based on U.S. foreign policy?
Inevitable in the sense that we destabilized a lot of the Middle East, that forced people to believe that another act of violence was the only response.
How you doing over there, Harold? Good?
My nose is running.
Okay, I'm going to go to you next. Dana, so this woman doesn't really have a job.
Nope. Well, I mean, that's another. Look. Start looking at the jobs or the schooling that a lot of the DSA candidates have had. Again, they sound exactly alike. They use the same cadence. They have the same language. They have studied. They work together. They are super organized that way. What Hakeem is doing, and the rest of the Democrats that are doing is they're not making the tent bigger. They're making it more narrow. And the way that that's happening is that the Democrat socialists are using the Democratic Party in order to figure out a way. Okay, so let's figure out a way we can take these voters and we can muscle in. And then, like, for example, Graham Plattner today, this guy, He is trashing Chuck Schumer up one side and down the other. And then today he says, but I need help because I don't have enough money and you have to help me. And so then Hakeem and Chuck Schumer are going to be in this position. Do they support them? Are they going to cave and probably do that? And when look at the incumbents that they're throwing out of office. Goldman from last week and Espelot, and the guy we talked about yesterday, well, he's not thrown out, but getting attacked in California. It's not like they are moderate Democrats. They are hardcore progressives. But what's the one issue that they're not solid on that these socialists care about the most? And it's Israel and Jewish people. And they
Was waiting for it. Thank you.
They are
I was gonna say
anti-Semitic.
they actually, that's not really what they care about the most. If I was to be honest with you, what they really care about is free shit. That's what they care,
Of course,
about,
but
care about
that's
the most. But yes,
that's
that
the
is one of
Trojan
the
horse
things,
that carries the train, you know? So, and that's what I was telling you the other day. And I said that to my stream by myself when I was alone on Saturday. Like, you know, you can't fall for that, whether that's legitimate or not. We cannot have the bar be so low to the point where just because somebody's anti-Israel, now we're on board despite all of their other asinine policies. And I would get it if it was 2005 and like no one was anti-Israel and that was a foreign idea. But that's just not a foreign idea in 2026. Per Pew Research and several other mass polls, more than half of Americans actually sympathize with Palestinians more than Israelis under the age of 30 or 25. Like, things are changing, times are changing. And so we will see new political candidates step to the stage that will have this correct anti-Israel stance or not cucking for Israel entirely or bending over without all the socialist bullshit. And so we're giving these people the biggest in and we're voting for them without hesitation when if we just wait and watch or we don't give those votes in that direction, we can demand a presence from the right that has similar rhetoric without all of the extremism. But, you know, people are jumping the gun and jumping on board to this stuff quite quickly. And I say this because there has been this popular mobilization for the DSA in New York City. I live right outside New York City. Like, I see it, you know, so believe what you will, but they're earning the influence of a lot of Americans who, like you mentioned earlier in regards to the Supreme Court ruling, don't have opinions on anything, but they hear the anti-Israel thing and it's like on board. And it's like, that may not actually be in your best interest. However, they'll come to know after some time. They won't know just yet.
That is the strain that is driving it. And if Hakeem and Chuck don't believe that accepting these people into the big tent doesn't mean exactly what they're trying to do, they're going to have a rough road of it, regardless if Trump's here or not.
You know, 20, even 10 years ago, Greg, if you had a member of Congress who's running on America kind of deserved 9/11, I mean, she wouldn't get anywhere near Congress.
She seemed like she was doing you a favor by answering it. 9/11.
Yeah, and the way to answer that question is America did not deserve 9/11. You just shoot it down right away because they're obviously trying to get you in this gotcha moment. Like, you know, do you think the U.S. I don't know what that lady had said previously, so I don't have the context as to why they asked her that. But they do this with all these far left candidates. They're like, do you think the U.S. deserved 9/11? It's like, no, the U.S. never deserved 9/11. But that's why I'm anti-intervention in the Middle East, because those can sometimes be the blowback effects of poor foreign policy is the way to answer that. You know, you dishevel this guy with this large organization that was previously funded by the CIA being in bin Laden, and then you destabilize the Middle East, you go after Beirut, you go after Palestine, you give the Israelis all the power, you are going to create some sort of extremism by favoring one side over the other when the other side was actually your ally against the Soviets, and then you turned your back on him and funded the people in his country against his own religious belief. So it was a culmination of things that led to the terror that we saw worldwide from ISIS and Al-Qaeda. And had it not been our poor foreign policy that was motivated by Israel, these things may have never happened. And that's the way you answer those questions. But obviously, the DSA will just kind of, or anybody from the far left, I don't want to slander the DSA despite me not liking them. I want to be honest in my rhetoric. Anybody from the far left may kind of echo similar sentiment. I think Hassan Piker said that once, and then he apologized. The U.S. deserved 9/11. I'm saying it, bro. Fuck it. I'm pretty sure he said that.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
But and that's disgusting. And, you know, you draw that distinction, but it's important to highlight 9/11 was an effect of poor foreign policy. I care about the country. I don't want our foreign policy to be so bad anymore. But this is the problem with like the Fox News, you know, boomers is they do this thing where they conflate it all and just make it seem like you're anti-American because you're anti-intervention in the Middle East. No, that makes me pro-American. You know, that actually makes me care about the country far more than you do. So
seem to remember that. But I mean, the big tent accepting these people, it's like a tree saying termites welcome. You know, in order to have a tent, you got to have boundaries. The tent itself is a boundary. If everyone is welcome, including the people who wish to destroy you, then what is the point of a tent? It is organizations and groups, families, they're not just defined by who you are, but who you aren't.
And I love how they
we
say,
do
like,
have certain.
Like they're saying, like, you know, Democrats welcome socialists, big arms. No, socialists are taking over the tent, my friend.
They got no choice, bro.
They don't realize that, like, these socialists are taking over the Democratic Party and they're taking over the tent. That is the new meta, dude. And you look at someone like, here, let me share my screen real quick. Well, actually, no, I'll do it after this. Like Mamdani, for example, is like taking over. You know,
can. Go
everyone
ahead.
he endorses.
I'll take mine off very quickly.
It's only 10 seconds. It's not needed. Okay. I could do it after this. But like this is the new Democrat Party, bro. Mamdani, everyone he pitched basically got elected. You know?
Yeah, he's got endorsement power and influence now. And this is what I keep telling
the Democratic
people.
Party.
Trump has executive power. And of course, because he's a president, he utilizes this. But, you know, Trump is Trump. So maybe he does things a little bit different to other presidents who have utilized their executive power. He's a little bit more unorthodox. But there is a blowback negative of that if you don't succeed in your attempted legislation or all these executive orders. And it's creating this hunger and this appetite, this desperation from the left to absolutely remove and squander and eradicate any presence of the GOP from the United States in the foreseeable future. And that's what he created by all of his policy failures. So when we're telling you no war in Iran, and then he starts a war in Iran that we are struggling to wiggle out of, this creates way more room and opens so many more doors for these socialists to earn talking points. And again, this is why the Democrats welcome them with open arms, because you're not going to be able to combat that rhetoric effectively, especially when it has an anti-Israel core. Whether it's legitimate or not, or it's this Trojan horse for their later agenda or their grander agenda, which is the actual truth, right? They do have this grander agenda of socialism. It is helping them. It is helping them, and they're steamrolling. So I know it's early, and I know people are going to say we're being a little bit pessimistic and negative, but I'd really like to think that we'll see the fruits of this in maybe the next year and a half, 2 years, even as early as November and December. So we'll continue to watch, but
rules to keep people in and out of things. And sometimes that goes crazy, but we do have, you know, somewhere along the line, boundaries were made a sign of bigotry, but there's a reason for intolerance. You know, you do not tolerate bare feet in a restaurant. You do not tolerate grown men in the Girl Scouts. You do not tolerate the obese in the military. I can't be a Harlem Globetrotter, and I can dunk. So does the party have a right to welcome anyone when it affects everyone else in that group? Realistic example, you invite a male rapist into a women's shelter. It satisfies your virtue.
Ryad, yeah, just so everyone in the TikTok chat knows and everybody in general knows, guys, the only Discord I pay attention to is my Discord with OSS, guys. I don't know what's going on with the FNF Discord. I don't really care. I'll be honest with y'all. Like, I'm not active on there. The OSS Discord is the one that we watch and we work with. So the FNF Discord is a whole other thing that's not, I'm not even in there, bro. I'll be honest with y'all. The only Discord I care about, keep it 1,000 with y'all, is the OSS Discord. So shut the fuck up about the FNF Discord. I don't care, bro. I don't care. If there's some idiots over there doing some dumb shit, I think it's being handled already. But the OSS Discord is the one that I care about. So please shut the fuck up in the TikTok chat. Please shut the fuck up. You guys are retarded, low IQ morons, and it's annoying. Okay? Holy shit, dude. It's actually really annoying. These people keep saying this dumb shit. Like, I don't give a shit about what's going on over there. It's already being handled, but that is not the Discord that I even care about. It's OSS. That's my Discord. You want to join that one, go ahead. But I don't give a shit about what's going on over on the FNF one. And now I got to fucking end the TikTok stream because niggas are retarded and stupid. So, yeah, go ahead. Continue on, Ryad. Holy shit, man. Stupid fucks.
Signal. It's a big tent, but then a woman.
And really quick, I just had two chats that I forgot to read. I'm going to go ahead and read these. 13th Wielder, appreciate you both. Thank you, my friend. Always showing love. I remember that. Nav, y'all going to talk about the MK Ultra thing? I saw some of that, but I haven't been paying too much attention to it. So, no, we're not going to cover that.
Gets raped and murdered, which is what happened in New York. So, again, boundaries exist so the thing survives. And if you...
Here's the thing about the Dems, though. They don't really have, like, any ideological grounding. That's one thing I'll give credit to respect to the right. Like, the Dems can sway any which way so long as it's favorable. And that's the whole idea of progressivism, like to progress, to be ever changing, always adjusting to the new norm. And this is why the right has become more popular. To be a Democrat in 2005, 2007, when Obama was running and he won, is far different now than to claim I'm a Democrat in 2026. Democrats used to be against gay marriage. Democrats used to be against a lot of these things, and now they've shapeshifted just to cater to a lot of people's needs and or like the wider scope of the liberal talking agenda. So they always shapeshift, and it's no different here with the Socialist Party. They're going to accommodate and adjust to them if it means earning favorability from the general left as a whole. So this is like the nature of the left. This is what they do. They shapeshift. There's no surprise here. The right is conservative, right? It's different, huh?
And no, I was gonna say, and as they shapeshift, they actually they increase the conservative base, because people that were progressives before end up saying, "Oh, well, I'm not a progressive anymore. I guess I'm a bigot." So then they end up
jump ship.
Yeah, like you look at someone like Joe Rogan, Tim Pool, etc. These guys were like leftists like a decade ago. These guys were progressives a decade ago,
and they still kind of are centrist. But people on the left consider them far right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's the craziest thing
they'll
about
look,
Joe
they'll
Rogans.
they'll look at like someone like a Tim Pool and say that he's far right, which is insane to me to even insinuate that.
That's absurd. It's absurd.
That's
he's as center
nuts.
as it gets, honestly. So, it goes to show that the left is becoming more and more extreme, and they shapeshift to cater to the talking points and the needs. And, look, when it comes to progressivism and culture and things like that, as certain things are just necessary to adjust to, because we are living in a world that's always developing. So I don't want people to think I'm like this old, outdated 80s boomer that's like, driving a F-150. But at the same time, there's a threshold. And the left has went way beyond past that threshold years ago, even a decade ago. And so it's gone too far, which is why everybody now is even at minimum kind of center right or in the middle, because they're saying, hey, I'm not supportive of all this trans law. I'm not supportive of all these differences in what they're teaching in the schools. I'm not supportive of even socialism. But again, the Democratic Party is like, come on in, so they will continue to cater to the ever evolving extreme ideas of the left. And they do that because they don't have any real grounding. That's the nature of their ideology.
Yeah, because they have to. The thing is, it's in the word. They must keep progressing, which means what?
Yeah,
becoming more radical, more and more radical.
Yeah.
Let these people in who are openly saying they want to destroy America. You're an accessory to the crime, and it isn't a big tent. Like, you're right. There's no pro-lifers. There's no pro-Second Amendment people. It's like a tent with an open flap, and the flap is facing the direction of basically anti-patriotic, anti-Americanism. It's interesting that they call themselves Democrat Socialists, because you could never envision Republican socialists. Right. There's no. If somebody said I'm a Republican socialist, you go, no, that's nuts. Mm-hmm. Why can you envision a Democrat socialist?
Well,
and we just explained this literally. Go ahead.
I would say you would just call them National Socialists.
Yeah,
that's what you would call them.
That would be going in a whole nother direction if we want to talk about that.
Yeah, that's what you would call a Republican socialist, my friend, is the National Socialist Party. But we don't want to have the discussion. We're on JTube, so
yeah, that's a very, very divisive topic right there. But
yeah.
By the way, Nikita, thank you so much for the 5. Where did my chat go? Ultra boomer moment. Hang on. Good stuff, Ryad. Thank you for keeping a clean dialogue and censoring words. I listen to your videos at work. Thank you so much. I'm glad you can listen to them at work. Yeah, I try to not curse. My mom yells at me about it, but it's kind of hard. So sometimes it just hits to drop the F-bomb. I'm sorry.
It does.
But we're cleaning it up.
What does that tell you? Something about the Democrats. Harold.
Harold, your name was invoked.
So I am as repulsed and disgusted by this young lady's comments, not as much because I think she wants to be a member of my party or claims to be a member of my party, as it is I think she doesn't understand that if she honestly...
What are you grinning at?
No, I'm just listening to the outrage from his perspective. But no, we'll keep going.
Okay.
We'll keep going.
I thought you were going somewhere else.
No.
My mind is not. That's fine. It's fine. We'll be professional.
believes what she just said there about we deserved it. She is saying that a group of people who wouldn't allow her to speak the way she's speaking on television, they would kill her. A group of people who wouldn't allow her to dress the way she wants to dress, think the way she wants to think, gain the jobs that she try to gain a job like she wants to gain, and then criticize the state as she has. I think these people, Greg, who want to be a part of our tent, I call it the American tent first, and the Republican and Democratic tents are in that big tent. And we may differ on things, but we don't differ on what's
Yo, y'all crazy in the chat talking about he got a peanut head, man. Come on, guys.
fundamental about our country. Kaylee and I had a
Come on. Control your chat, bro.
Conversation and debate about what the 14th Amendment. We didn't have a conversation about what America meant and whether or not we deserve to have people come to our country and destroy it. For anyone to call themselves a Democrat who believes that America deserved 9/11, and she's able to say that in a country that she's defending a group of people who wouldn't allow her to say what she's saying, who wouldn't allow her to be the person that she wants to be and achieve and accomplish the things that she's accomplished. I said it the other day and I'll say it again. They offer no answers. There's nothing constructive. We're the most dynamic, the most innovative, the most creative group of people, economic system and economy in the world. At every point in each of the last few centuries, several centuries, America has faced a challenge to whom we are where people felt excluded.
Oh, sorry.
The answer can't be to burn it down. That's what these people are saying. The answer was, how do we work from within with all the tools and assets and resources we have to make the country better? That's what we ought to be doing. And for those whom are not, and those who want to come into the Democratic Party, there has to be a little bit of an admission fee. And that fee has to be, you understand that the country is great, and our job is to try to make it greater, not burn it down.
Well said, Harold.
Yeah, I mean, no, credit to him in some respect. That's what they want, man. And these people hate America. Whatever happened to like Democrats liking the country? You know, I can always get behind that and respect that, at least from a distance.
You know what I mean?
Like,
I'm gonna blow my nose with the American flag. Like, bro, these people are not patriots. They don't care about
like,
the country.
why is
at
that
all.
ever necessary? You know, they go on and talk about the fact that the country's got this dirty history, as if every country in the world is innocent of all these same things like conquest and things like that. So it's always so frustrating. I just wish there was a big, wide, popular party from the left that shared some sort of love for the country. You know, and you see that from some. You do see that, and you saw that from Biden in some sense, right? Biden was, you know, not super crazy far left progressive. He would always say, he had that famous speech once. I forgot what he said. It was something along the lines of, "We own the finish line. We're second to none." You know, like I can appreciate that. That doesn't exist at all within this new DSA and this new coalition of these extreme far left commie socialists, whatever you want to call them. And that's the biggest frustrating thing, besides their asinine policies and what they want to do with the money that we earn. The biggest or one of the bigger things that concerns me as well is like there's just no patriotism, and like people have now made patriotism synonymous with like being a far right wing radical racist, like pro white supremacist. It's like no, like you can like the country and not have to be far right, actually, you know. So it is so frustrating to see that, and that seems to be like the rhetoric that comes from the Mamdanis and the Daria Lizas and all these other influential people that are now earning bigger voices inside of the DSA.
Harold is absolutely correct.
I was gonna say, you want to read your chats, then we'll move on to Venezuela. And
yeah, let's do it. In regards to the earthquake, correct?
Yeah, we'll cover the earthquake and cover other news, and we'll cover what's going on in the Middle East as well. We'll cover because I know I got about another hour or so with you here. So
yeah, let's do it. I have.
Go ahead and read your chats. I'm gonna turn to Jew Talk back on. Go ahead.
Okay. Catchamatolj says communists killed more than Nazis. Not that it matters. Thank you for the 10. Okay, that's it. That's how I only had one more chat come in, and then yeah, if you want, you can get everything queued up and ready for.
Yeah, let me start getting it
guys,
up.
If you're on YouTube, please like the video. Appreciate all the support.
I'll read some chats right now. Let's see here. Chris says, Myron, if you and your brother were voted in as president and VP, how would y'all fix the birthright citizenship problem? We would just make it where you have to have some type of real status in the United States, where if and like an address or whatever, where you would actually, you know, and like probably at least bare minimum a green card or be a citizen to actually have some type of citizenship if you're born here. Because the problem is that a lot of people abuse the immigration system. We'd have to fix the immigration system from a top-down perspective, bro. Kara Basil, do you have any advice for white men who survive attacks that will ramp up during the blue wave as the liberals hate white straight men? bro, just keep doing what you're doing. Just hide, work your job. Let me and my brother and people like us do the talking for y'all, bro. Like, hide your power level. What do we have for surviving the blue liberal wave? I mean, you guys have nothing to worry about because you guys are not like, if you're not like out there like being politically active and doing debates, then you don't have anything to worry about. Shout out to Make America Fascist Again. Resubscribe. That's funny. Any chance ICE deportations ramp up after the midterms? Probably not. Probably not. Sauce Ken, welcome to the, I think you just joined OSS. Welcome, bro. So, yeah. And then we got a troll in here, so now I'm going to waste our time with that. Okay, let me go ahead real quick. And, hey, Make America Fascist Again. Thank you for the 5 gifted, my friend. That's a funny name. Make America Fascist Again is hilarious. Let me go ahead and get this going. She belongs to the streets. Thank you for the 5 gifted. Appreciate you, my friend. Where is this? Is it? Let me make sure I have the right screen here. And guys, I'm gonna get off of YouTube here very soon. By the way, is that good? Okay, y'all can see this. Okay, so actually, you know what? I know what I'm gonna do.
I cannot.
Yeah, you can. Hold on.
Okay.
That's my bad. I'm just gonna share screen. That's what I gotta do. Boom. All right, there we go. So look at this, guys. This is what was going on when the earthquake first happened. Just so you guys get an idea of what was going on, dude. This was absolutely insane. Holy.
That is absurd, man.
They can't even stand.
That is
And then the buildings are coming down.
Wow.
That building completely just toppled over.
Yeah, and I think it's nearly 2,000 dead now.
Yeah. Yep. That's crazy. And just a few, like, I'm assuming that was the only time, or did it keep going?
What are you asking?
Like, did it keep going, or like did they like did it like keep going as far as like the earthquakes, or was that just the one time that it like just shook?
No, I think they were ongoing. They were ongoing for some time. I see here 7.2 to 7.5 magnitude, which is just absolutely insane. So it says here at least 1,900 people killed, more than 10,500 injured, 16,000 left homeless, 6,400 people rescued, 43,000 remain missing, which is unbelievable. And this is the most heartbreaking of it all, not to take away from the other things. They're terrible as well, but 680,000 children in need of humanitarian assistance. So a very, very heartbreaking situation there in Venezuela as well. And I was going to cover that yesterday, but we didn't have much time. But yeah, it's very unfortunate to see what's happened. And I think there's been several earthquakes now over the course of the last few days. Perfect. Yeah, play that.
Yeah. And this comes 15 hours ago. I'll do another one as well after.
A humanitarian crisis.
This comes from CBS News Miami.
This is unfolding right now in Venezuela in the wake of the double.
Oh, hold on. Let me turn up the volume for you guys. Sorry. This is
earthquakes almost 1 week ago, and some of the new video that we're getting into our newsroom doesn't even begin to show the full extent of it, but you can see some of the devastation, all that damage left behind. So far, 1,700 people have died. At least 3 Americans are among those who were killed. We're also learning about the people who had just been deported from the United States when the ground started to shake. According to the Associated Press,
oh, well, that's going to give them a pass.
146 Venezuelans, including 19 women and 7 children, arrived on a deportation flight from Miami just hours before Wednesday's earthquakes. They were being held at a hotel in La Guaira. Now, we know there were survivors, but it's unclear if everybody is accounted for, and their relatives are now demanding answers. Now, according to the New York Times, doctors have said that in La Guaira, officials
and there's guys that came from the U.S. to help out.
Officials have been processing about 750 bodies every day. The United Nations has also secured 10,000 body bags because searchers have not been able to fully go through many of those collapsed buildings. Meanwhile, hundreds of aftershocks have complicated those efforts. And you've got
okay, so there have been aftershocks before.
It's just a stunning moment amid all that chaos and heartbreak. So yesterday, rescuers pulled this 21-year-old man out alive. This is Aaron Levi Cantillo.
106 hours.
Was in that rubble of a collapsed building in La Guaira. He'd been trapped for 106 hours. Interim President Delcy Rodriguez shared the video of the rescue on social media, saying the rescue operation took nearly 2 days. And
Mr. Make America Fast Again, appreciate you. Mr. Trigger, appreciate you. Also, for all you brokies in the chat, say you're broke in the chat, someone might gift you a sub. So go ahead, say you're broke in the chat, someone might gift you a sub. Also, guys, I'm going to end the YouTube stream here. We're gonna cover a bunch of different things. We're gonna cover Venezuela. We're gonna cover the Strait of Hormuz, what went down with that. We're gonna cover the talks at Qatar, off to a shaky start. We're gonna cover that. We're gonna cover the war, obviously, in detail. So make sure that you guys come on over here in a second. I'm gonna turn YouTube off.
Venezuela is getting some international help, much of it from their neighbors in the Caribbean. Cuba sent a special group to help with search and rescue efforts. And meanwhile, the United States says it will be contributing $300 million to those recovery efforts.
Well, right here in South Florida, donations just keep pouring in. I saw this firsthand yesterday. It's truly incredible. Cars lined up once again at the Global Empowerment Mission headquarters in Doral. So things like batteries, flashlights, tents, they're also important right now, and survivors there are looking for shelter. The Miami Dolphins were even out there lending a helping hand. Now, supplies are appreciated, but...
Yeah, Doral's about 15 minutes from here. Actually, interestingly enough, that's where my old office used to be with HSI. Doral's not that far away. It's where the Dolphin Mall is, actually. It's like right there.
Cash donations are also really vital right now.
Giving cash to those organizations that were already doing the work, that are already there, you're eliminating having to go through the logistical challenges of sending a container.
Yeah, it's probably better to just donate, bro.
Now, GEM has been loading up planes and sending those South Florida donations to Venezuela almost daily at this point. This is video showing volunteers.
Yeah, guys, we have a huge Venezuelan population down here in Miami. Huge.
We
call Doral Venezuela, matter of fact. So, okay, let's get into. Okay, we cover. You want to go into like how they control the Strait of Hormuz, or do you want to go right into? We can go into Qatar talks. Fuck it. So U.S.-Iran peace talks in Doha off the shaky start. This comes from Fox News too, which makes it even funnier because you guys know Fox News is the Trump propaganda show, basically. Go ahead.
It's so amazing to see Fox have to cover this story. It's like it just fulfills me because they have no choice but to admit like, yo, this is an L, and they still keep saying. I was covering this on stream the other day, and I was like, the Fox News anchor was like, the United States still holds the cards, but it seems like right now the situation in Lebanon, I'm like, bro, just quit the cope, bro. This is an L. So it is so funny to watch. You don't even need to go to Al Jazeera to see what's going on. You just go to Fox, and they'll give you the scope as to how badly this is panning out for the U.S. And these reserves are continuously running lower and lower and lower. So go ahead. You can play.
And welcome back into Live Now. And we want to get back.
Hold on, let me get this volume up for you guys. Fox, as usual, their volume, their audio is trash. So yeah. Also, guys, I'm dropping the kick link for you guys on YouTube. For you guys that are watching on YouTube, I'm dropping the kick link for you ninjas. So come on over to kick.com/MyronGainsX, guys. Okay, that is the.
And
go ahead, Ryad.
I just had a couple chats. Ibn Yahya says $5. Thank you. He says, did you watch the discussion between Mohammed Hijab and Adnan Rashid? I saw some of it, and I'm going to react to that on stream at some point. Freedom Lands at $2. Are we in the beginning, middle, or end of the Iran war? I don't know, bro. It's starting to feel like the beginning, which is really, really not good. Now, I would like to think, idealistically, we're in the middle, stretching towards the end. But the way things are going with this MOU, and then Lebanon, Israel, Netanyahu, could very well be the beginning of a forever war. This is the nature of forever wars. People think forever war means like, fighting the entire time. No, it's constant talks that result in nothing, and then some sort of matter that can't be agreed upon. Some side can't concede on something that's essential for the other side to have concession upon. So we are in what looks like a forever war. I'm not saying it will be, but these are the elements that entail that. So
Mr. Trigger, thank you again, and make America Fast Again. Appreciate all you ninjas. Yeah, I'm getting off of I dropped the link for you guys on YouTube. YouTube and I'm gonna end the Twitter one too. YouTube, X, and Party going down, guys. YouTube, X, and Party going down. Come on over to kick.com/MyronGainsX. Ending the other streams right now. Party going down now. X going down now.